Here you'll see a couple of videos that illustrate what it looks like to work below your dog's threshold, as well as examples of me accidentally sending my dog Benny over threshold during a couple of sessions, and how I handled that. Accidents happen, and it's not the end of the world. Don't beat yourself up. Just stop what you're doing and take a step back. Now, the first two videos are nail trimming examples. Benny is not a fan, never has been. I did start out very slowly when he was just a puppy, and I progressed like a professional, and then, like many people, I got greedy and I pushed the envelope a few times too many, simply because Benny let me. I should have known better. Words spoken by every trainer I've ever known. I should have known better. Eventually, Benny would just say, "Nope, no way, not gonna happen," whenever I set up for a nail trim. So I had to start from scratch again. And by the time I shot these two videos, I had already done many practice sessions, starting with first having Benny sit in front of me in our usual nail trimming location while I fed him yummy treats. And we did several sessions of just feeding treats in this particular location until he always looked happy and relaxed to be there. Later, I worked on approaching his front paw with my left hand. This is the hand that I always use to hold a nail that I'm about to trim. And at first, I wouldn't touch his paw at all. I would just approach it and hover closely. And in these two videos, I'm gradually progressing, always keeping a watchful eye on Benny's body language. The two sessions took place several hours apart, but on the same day. And here's an important note. For the purposes of these videos, I moved through these exercises fairly quickly with Benny, but in general, it takes many more reps at each stage before progressing to the next one. The key message here is that I had to start at the beginning, which was sitting with Benny in the scary location. No touching, no clippers in sight, just me, him, and food. And then, after we did the relaxed feeding exercises in that location, we proceeded to this. My mistake. All done. All done. Good job. All done. No more of these. Good job. Now, the next two videos are all about the icky, awful harness. At least that's how Benny felt about this harness. In the first video, you'll see me mess up again. And as a little background info, Benny finds anything touching his torso to be physically aversive. Over time, I've helped him build positive associations with this harness, but he'll never really like the sensation. So in the first video, I tried to introduce Benny's dreaded harness into our play session, and it proved to be too much for him. Bring it to me. Here's the good boy. Here's the good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Not so much fun anymore, is it? Now you're too worried. Is it too close? Is it too close? Okay. My bad. I overestimated his level of comfort. It's no biggie, though. I mean, I immediately canceled the session and backed way up to a much easier step. Reaching for the harness in its usual place, which is on the hook, while feeding Benny his most favorite thing in the whole world, stinky cheese. Now, Benny does love that Red Lobster toy very much, but he loves cheese more. So not only did I back up to a far easier step for him to handle, I also increased the value of that second stimulus. Remember that in counter conditioning, we're pairing the first stimulus, the scary thing, with a second stimulus, a fabulous thing. We did this session within minutes of the horror of introducing the harness into our play session. You can see here that Benny is well below threshold and not at all threatened, and that's exactly where I need to start. All done. And here's your assignment. Taking into consideration the one or more issues that you've chosen to work on during this course, find your starting point for each of these issues. It sounds like an easy enough task, but as you witnessed in my videos, it's easy to overestimate what your dog's level of comfort might be. Do some tests while trying to avoid strongly triggering your dog's fearful or avoidance responses. Find out what the lowest level of exposure is that does not trigger a fearful response. This will be your starting point.